The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories. Today we delve into the turbulent, violent world of Tom Raper, a man whose trail of destruction spans state lines and leaves devastation in its shadow. Join me as we uncover the story of a fractured childhood, a life unbound by rules, and the dark path that transformed a boy into a dangerous man.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Boss, and you are on the record with Behind the Bars. And today I have my very good friend. His name is Tom Raper, Jr., and he is coming to us live from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And Tom has been incarcerated for a very long time. And for those who have not seen the very first podcast that we did with Tom, I will link it up right now. You guys will be able to look at it. Check that out because that gives us some initial info on Tom's original testimony. But because it took me a long time to get a phone line rolling, I finally was able to get it, and I was able to get my good friend Tom on the phone. Mr. Tom Raper, my brother, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Great. Taking it one step at a time with you.
One step at a time. Now, Tom, you've been locked up now for how many years?
24 years and some change.
24 years and some change. And how long have you been on this last bid that you've been on right now?
This year, from November 10th, 2000, to now, so it's, like I say, 24 years and some change. If you're talking about how long have I been locked up all my life, I've been doing time off and on since I was 12 years old, in and out of the system.
And how old are you right now?
I'm 54.
All right, 54. So you're 54 years old. You've done 24 and some change years in prison. Right now, you're in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. What unit are you in?
JSB All-Ridge Unit with the Iowa Park.
Okay. And you mentioned you got in trouble very, very young. And again, I would like to encourage anybody out there to check out the very first podcast because we go into a lot of things. But, Tom, take me through a little bit in your childhood. What do you remember as youth? Let's kind of go over the very first email that we went over. Tell me about your youth. Tell me about your childhood and your memories of that.
My memories of my childhood was a pretty strange childhood. I was the middle child of five. I had a good relationship with my mom until up to the point when Rodney was born. Rodney, he had brown eyes, and he's the only kid that took after my mom with brown eyes. So once he was born, I was pretty much the abandoned child, you know what I mean, that I felt, you know what I mean. And my dad at the time was in the penitentiary there in California. So when he got out, my dad got out, and then naturally I kind of clung to my dad, you know what I mean, because I felt alienated from my mom. I was really a jealous child. I felt rejected. I felt not wanted. So I seeked out to do anything and everything possible to keep that attention that I once had with her, and most of it was in a negative fashion. I came to the point where my dad, he was a real bad alcoholic, very abusive to my mom, but he taught me how to drink, taught me how to steal, taught me how to just be everything that he was, and I thought that was my life. Then he started escalating my little brother to where I just despised him, you know what I mean? And one day my mom caught me in his crib trying to smother him with a pillow. And from there, just things started going downhill. My dad going in and out of prison, but things between me and my mom were not good at that time. And it just got worse and worse. I remember one time when my dad got out of prison, my mom, she was shacked up with another guy named Don. My dad had got out earlier that day and went out drinking with his brother, my Uncle John. They got into it with some blacks. My Uncle John had a knife. My dad wanted to take a knife from my uncle. Long story short, my dad came home. Where he came in the house, I was laying there in the living room on the couch asleep. I remember my dad coming in, and John, he was a big ex-convict himself, come meet my dad halfway across the living room. My dad picked up a table made out of redwood that he had made before, and picked it up and threw it at the guy, and John hit the table, split the table in half, knocked all my dad's front teeth out, broke his nose. My dad went down, and he put the bloody end of that knife in the waistband and pulled it up, cut the guy from ankles all the way to his waist. You know what I mean? That was the first impression of that's my dad. You know what I mean? And it was acceptable in the life that I come from. You know, my dad, he was a biker out of Bakersfield, California, a biker group called the Nomads. Violence was a thing in my life. You know what I mean? The attention that I received from my mom was not a good thing, but a bad thing. So I clung to my dad, you know what I mean? And my dad wasn't a good role model, you know what I mean? My dad wasn't a father figure. My dad was more of a friend, you know what I mean? And the abuse that my dad would project to my mom, he taught me that it was okay to, and I at a very young age, I started to become abusive to her, whether like physically, emotionally, verbally. So, I started leading that life in the streets. I remember Dad telling us who wants a bicycle. You know what I mean? We all, of course, all of the kids on the bicycle. So we all piled in the truck. Dad drives us to the rich neighborhood. And we jump out of the truck, steal somebody's bicycle in the yard, and we ride like the wind. That was our shopping days. That's how we got our bikes and stuff like that. So at an early age, I was taught that this kind of lifestyle is acceptable, you know. My dad taught us that you don't start a fight, you don't walk away from one. And so, I mean, it was the norm in my life.
Mm-hmm. So going back to Rodney and talking about him, and for those who missed any part of that, Rodney's your I guess he was your hated brother, right? He was the one that took the attention from your mom and made things very hard on you. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's 4 years younger than me. And this here, I mean, it's crazy to say, but, I mean, it stemmed from that birth of his all the way into our adult lives. Me and him never had a close relationship. Me and him always fought. There was always tension. I mean, and
why do why do you think that was? Why do you think that you were never able to see eye to eye with him, and vice versa?
I think a lot of it stemmed through early scarring, of emotional scars and rejection, stuff like that. But I think a lot of it had to do with my mom, and what she raised us, She felt she only had 2 children out of us 5, It was her and my sister Donna, She felt that those are her 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
As far as me and Tammy and Jeremiah, we were dad's kids. So, I don't know, it played a major role in our family.
Mm-hmm.
There was always tension and friction.
Right. Now, going back to the bike shopping spree, to where your dad would say, "Hey, let's go get a new bike." How old were you when that was going down? What's the scoop on that? Was that always everything you remember? That's how things got done?
Oh yeah, 6, 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking. Deep down, I think my dad later regretted it because not that we were out there stealing or anything, but this good thing, he didn't have no room in the backyard anymore. He had 50, 60 bicycles in the backyard. So,
oh man.
So it was just a normal thing, but that was the kind of environment my dad came from as well. All my cousins, my uncles, they were all the same. It was just a norm in our life. We came up. Well, at that time, we were living on the east side of Fresno, California, and if you know anything about Fresno back in the 70s and 80s, it was more or less the barrio, Mexican and white. It's not the same anymore.
Okay, so take me through this. So when was the first drug use and first encounter with drugs as a kid? What age were you at, and what were you involved in?
I started using first at a really young age with my dad. My dad would keep me drunk, teach me to cuss out my mom and so forth and that nature. But then I started smoking pot at a real early age, 9, 10, somewhere in there. My sister, and I remember first time catching her smoking and told her, if you didn't let me smoke that cigarette with you, I was going to tell on her, And I said, well, no cigarette, it was marijuana, And it just escalated from there, and I started doing drugs at an early age. And my dad, and he'd get in trouble, and we'd run from California to Montana, from Montana to Minnesota. Those were kind of like our running states whenever we went into trouble. So I started doing drugs at an early age. I remember that we went back to California, and I had been back to California and hitchhiked, and I got tired of it. At this time, I was on the run. I was riding the trains, being a hobo, doing that kind of nature. But I went back to California. I was shackled with this older lady, and I wound up going and breaking into my own grandmother's house, my mom's mom. And I don't know, maybe that stemmed from just a personal abuse from my mom, but I had a lot of abusive relationship with my grandma as well. I remember her coming over all the time and beating me with dog grooming brushes. My grandma, she was a dog groomer, and she would put my pants down and beat me with the handle of the dog grooming brushes. Maybe that stemmed from having I broke into her house, with one of the burglars in her house, taking her VCR. And that's when I first, I've been in and out of foster care and stuff before this, but that's the first time I really finally went up and went to a California Youth Authority and there and things just kind of really started spiraling downhill from there. And I remember going to NRCC there in Sacramento, California, and I remember just being scared and everything, but at the same time it was wild.
Well, what I want to do is I wanted to go back a little bit because I didn't get any ages on a lot of this stuff right here. The Rodney incident, you were how old? You were, when did that happen?
4 or 5, no, about 5 or 6, somewhere in there.
5 or 6, and then that same time, and I don't know if we went over it, but for those who have not seen the very first podcast, in that very first podcast, you go over a little story about lighting paper on fire under Rod.
Yeah, that was the same time.
Okay, so
yeah, it was the same time.
Can you explain?
Lighting my...
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Boss, and I'm the host of Behind the Bars. First, I want to thank you for watching, sharing, and supporting our channel. This project means the world to us because it's about giving a voice to the unheard. The men and women behind the bars who share their raw, unfiltered stories of life, mistakes, redemption, and lessons learned. But here's the reality. Because of the nature of our content, Behind the Bars will never be monetized by YouTube. And that's okay. We're not doing this for the money, but to keep telling you these stories, to keep bringing you interviews from across the plains, we need your help. Right now, we're sitting on over 15 incredible interviews that are waiting to be edited and shared. We've got the footage, but we need the resources. More interviews mean more editors, more work, and a bigger team to make this vision a reality. And that's where you come in. By becoming a Patreon today, you're not just helping bring us these stories to life. You're also getting exclusive access to behind the scenes conversations and untold stories that won't be available on YouTube. These are the moments that take you deeper into the lives of our interviewees, as well as the challenges and triumphs we face while we are creating this channel. If you've ever been moved by one of these stories, if you believe in the power of second chances and in a shining light on the human experience, please consider supporting us. With your help, we can reach further and roll out even more of the content you love. So from the bottom of my heart and from all of us here at Behind the Bars, thank you for being a part of this journey. Much love to you, y'all, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. My mom was very, like you say, abusive toward me. I mean, to the point where anything I did, violence come away back to me. And so I would act out for any time she would discipline me. I would act out. Like one morning, she woke up my sisters and us at school, and I went out to her car and stuck a bunch of newspapers underneath the seat of her car, and there lit it on fire and watched her car burn. That was one of the incidences. And another time, I'm not even mentioned it in my first podcast, we were out in the swimming pool, just a little small kiddie pool swimming pool, and the lady named there, and I'm out there doing my thing, and she wound up putting Rodney in the pool with me, and Rodney wound up going to the bathroom. He was just a toddler, and he wound up peeing and pooping in the pool. I wound up going off on him, bit him from the top of his head to his feet. I mean, just biting. And I remember my mom kept him screaming and beating me there in the pool. That's some of the incidences, you know. I remember one time I was in, I don't know, first or second grade, and we're walking to school. I wound up stealing this bike out of the front yard. There was a tricycle. I ride it all the way to school. A little girl that was in my same class noticed that it was her bike. Told what it was, what my dad had bought the bike, and well, it turned out that there was a nail underneath the seat. And, that was my first actual run-in with the law. The school would call my mom, asked me what was going to do, and my mom said, "They take me to juvenile hall." the cops came to the hall, but they weren't taking me there to leave me there. It was supposed to be just a scare tactic, but to me, it wasn't a scare tactic, because right after they took me there, they wanted to take me to the Tasty Freeze, like an ice cream chain that in California took the Tasty Freeze about the Mexican. So at a young age, I was pretty much introduced to, hey, you can be rewarded for the negative behavior that you did. When I first did a bicycle and get some free ice cream from the police, that was pretty much the message I received.
So crime was just pretty much a part of your life. It's what you kind of just knew. So ending up where you are at, where would you put the beginnings of the struggle at? I mean, do you think there's any possible way that the old Tom could ever make it back and talk to the young Tom and convince him to somehow go a different path than what he went? Because it sounds like you lived a very young life of violence. Like you knew a lot about violence, and the story with Rodney in the swimming pool, and the hatred for your brother. It sounds like a legitimate hatred. Now, do you feel that you still hate Rodney to this day with the same kind of passion from back in these days, or have you guys come to any kind of understanding, or what's your thoughts on him as of today?
My thoughts of today, for a lot of years, I'll be to the point before I caught this cage over here. Me and Rodney, we never really seen eye to eye. Like I say, we grew up on this other end of each other. I mean, even when I got out of prison, me and him always fought. But my brother's dead now. And my brother took his life. He jumped in front of a train while I was in prison here. Took his life by suicide. He was thrown out on that. Do I wish that I could go back and talk to him and make amends and get a better brother to him? Sure. I mean, I'm not the same man that I used to be. I have a different mindset now. I mean, I have different values. I have different principles about me. I mean, it's not been easy. I mean, it's taken a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of deep scars. But it comes a point in my life where, I can say when I was young, the things that I experienced as a child, things that I was brought up in, that was the norm, that was acceptable. I can remember the times when my dad, he'd get out of prison, he drank and doing what he's saying, and he'd come home, and my dad was a really big man, 6'1", always worked out in prison. I mean, just a real big guy. And I remember my dad coming to the house and just being drunk and punching out every light bulb in the house. I mean, that was the norm. So to be brought up and seeing that as a child, and then the emotional scars that I had experienced, being rejected and all that, I tended to act out in that same manner toward my siblings. And it wasn't just with Rodney, it was with my sister as well, my sister, Donna. I remember one time, me and my sister got into it, and I had to remember that was Mama's girl, and I remember kicking her in the face, and I don't know if it is now, but for as long as I could remember, I mean, up to 24 years ago, where I kicked her in the face, I slid that front tooth of hers all the way back, and it stayed that way for all her life, you know what I mean? I don't know if she still has the teeth or not, you know what I mean? But, I mean, at that solid kick, you know what I mean? I disrupted the way her teeth grew in, you know? And, I don't know, it just, I'm going to say, things in my home wasn't the greatest. I remember at one time my sister, Donna, had gotten into it with my mom, and CPS was called, Child Protective Service, and they come and they're going to take my sister to foster care place, and I'm like, man, I want to go too, you know what I mean? And my mom's like, man, don't go, you know what I mean? To me, I felt like we were just a welfare check to my mom. But she said, don't go, you're going to take Donna's place, you know what I mean? You're going to be mama's pet. But I didn't want to hear that. I was ragged at that point. So we went to foster care. After a couple of days, my sister, she was ready to go back home, but not me. I mean, that's what I said. I've been in foster care before I wound up going to California Youth Authority. But I like the environment, the foster care better than I did at home, you know what I mean? And so I just stayed, you know what I mean? And I became aware of the state at a very young age. As far as your question about my brother, yeah, I wish I had a better relationship with him. You know what I mean? I wish I could go back and undo the things that happened as a child. I mean, the aggression and the abuse and all that nature that he grew up in. But I should really relate to that.
All right. Now, would you, I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, you've had all your aspects of your life have been laced in violence. You got into drugs very, very young. When did you make it out of, when did you go beyond weed? When did you go into the harder narcotics and the stuff that became monkeys on your back?
I started doing drugs in inside, you know what I mean? But when I got out, I remember I was out on probation there from California Youth Authority. They put me into a foster home there in Clovis. I wound up taking off, running the street, and I started getting into the meth scene and a lot of coke at the time. My sister, Tammy, my oldest sister, which is deceased, her and her husband, they did the party scene a lot and introduced me to the coke scene, and I started doing coke and stuff with my sister Tammy first, especially when they introduced me to marijuana. But yeah, at an early age, I mean, I've been doing drugs.
So you went from weed to coke. Do you know what age you were when you were doing coke?
Yeah, I was about 15, 16 when I did coke. But, I mean, it wasn't just coke. I mean, I started experimenting with anything that would help just loosen me up, take me away from the world that I lived in. I did a lot of acid growing up. I mean, I'd have to say at that time, acid was my drug of choice. I mean, I love to trip and go somewhere else. I mean, take me to a different zone. Reality was something I really liked. I mean, I tried to live in my own little fantasy world.
So you just are basically just using anything you could to find a way out of the world.
Yeah.
And when's the first time you used the needle?
First time I used the needle, I'd have to say, I was about, I don't know, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
Wow. And how did that go down? Who was that with? Who introduced you to that?
My sister, Sam. My sister, Tam.
So
she was a real big she had a crazy life as well. My sister, Tam, was married at 13. She was just really wild and pretty. I remember her first husband was a guy named Mark Meckley. That didn't last long. Another guy was named not Mark, but I can't think of his first name, but his last name was Gray. But I mean, everybody family ever dated was just a prodigal of my dad. I mean, I remember we were raised and we did, but yeah, she was my influence, and she taught me a lot. She was the black sheep of the girl. She was Maggie's girl, and she was a tomboy. And I can remember times, man, when I would go into the bar and my sister would be in there, and I'd see my sister clear the ballroom, man. Just a girl. I'm not talking beating up no girls. I'm talking about something with the best of the dudes, I watched my sister cut people up with beer bottles. So it wasn't just me that was thinking to buy that scene. It was just that was my family,
So you just basically your entire family is this exact same way?
Pretty much so, yeah. The only one that really tried to do anything with their life and be something right was my sister Donna, which her name today is not Donna, it's Tatiana, and I'll go to that later on as to why the name changed and all that. She's never had a parking ticket. She's never had anything outside of on the other side of the world. Me, my brother Jeremiah, my brother Rod, we've all been to the penitentiary. My sister Tammy, in and out of jail. She ain't never been to the penitentiary, but no, just the only one that tried to do anything different was Donna. So I'll give her credit for that.
Nice. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. You were take me to your very first prison. I mean, you basically were like in juvenile hall most of your adolescent life, in and out. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so when was? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, the first time I did time in a system in Minnesota. I started at an early age to I went to this dude was a camp. I wound up just running. I was steady. They couldn't keep me there. And I'd run and do whatever to get away. And finally they got tired of me. They wound up sending me to Sock Center. Sock Center was another, it's kind of like a one-step away to the penitentiary. My dad wound up writing a whole bunch of hot checks there in the state of Minnesota. And I think my mom comes to get me Audi. I mean, it's a baby, and we go from there to Dairy Queen, and Dad was saying, and then went to Nebraska. Me and my dad went to Nebraska, partying, going to the bars with my dad, doing just a lot of things that father and son did back then. I was to the point where, me and my dad started butting heads. My dad sent me back to my mom. Where at that time, my mom was living in Montana. So I got sent back there, and it wasn't not even 2 or 3 days after coming back. Me and my mom was into it. She instantly called the cops, turned me back in. I was extradited back to Minnesota. They flew me back to South Center where I finished my time. So yeah, that's all I know as far as a juvenile. It's just in and out, in and out, in and out. When my first bit of time that I ever did was in the state of Montana. I was living in Billings, Montana. At that time, I was settled down with a girl. When I met her, she was already pregnant. Wound up for about 6 months in pregnancy. I was with her. We had a good relationship, but I was still buck wild. And anytime I go out, someone was going to the hospital or something happened, came to the point where I couldn't even go into a bar. Because I'd been 86 out of all these bars fighting and that. I remember right after Tommy was born. Tommy was my stepson, the one that Tara was pregnant with. Anyway, I wanted to have a party with my house, shotgunning beers, and we got LSD, we got weed. We're all partying because I wouldn't let Tara drink or anything while she was pregnant. And Tara, she liked to party. So after Tommy was born, I threw a big party at the place right there off of 302 Jackson there in Billings, Montana. And everything's going good. We're having fun. A lot of people there that I don't know. And by the people that I knew, well, they brought people that they didn't know me. So we had a big old party. Mm-hmm. I remember walking into the living room, and this kid named Kill was hitting on my old lady. And I'm telling him, look, man, just chill out, and let's have a good time. This is my old lady, leave her alone. He's like, cool. So we're doing our thing, and little time goes by, and I come into the kitchen, and there he is again. He just put the balloons on me. I already talked to you once, so it was really just enough to say, you know what I mean? And I was taught at a young age, if you got it on your heart, go ahead and take care of it before fear sets in. So I'm not one that does a whole lot of talking. I don't do a whole lot of thinking. I'm just one, man, just to get it over with. So I just walk up to him and I punch him down real quick, you know what I mean? And when I do, I wound up knocking him. We have a bunch of knives all over my kitchen because we had been shotgunning beers in the kitchen. But he winds up getting this knife, and he's swinging this knife at me and cuts me up. So long story short, I wound up cutting him up, almost killing him. Same with one of his friends. I wound up cutting him too, but not as bad. But I don't remember none of this at that point because I was so gone. That's why I was intoxicated. Long story short, cops show up, pick me up. They tried to arrest me on my left hand where I got cut. The cartel had cut the nerves in my hand. To this day, I don't have feeling in my left hand. But I had blood everywhere. And the cop, he tried to arrest me. And I don't remember none of this, like I say. And he tried to grab my forearm and yank it up behind my back to the string to put the handcuffs. I slipped I pulled my arm out, and I elbowed him in the back, knocking him into the refrigerator. He later would come a silver suit, which was later dropped on me, but I tried to run out, and they cops wound up jumping on me, beating me up with a flashlight, put staples all in the back of my head. It feels like I said to this day, I don't remember none of this. This is all secondhand information from terror. But I do remember coming through. I'm on a gurney in the hospital there in Billings, cut down. I started screaming that I got to use the bathroom. Wound up finding out I didn't have to use the bathroom. I had a catheter already in, and cops seen me. I seen the cops right there, and they told me I was under arrest for felony assault with a weapon, and felony assault on a police officer, which would later be dropped on the police officer. But I went to Yellowstone County Jail, and I was charged with felony assault with a weapon. And I want to getting out of jail on bond, and once again packed up Claire, Tommy, and Claire's girlfriend. Her name is Tanzania. We called her Taz, and off to California we was in. Once we went back to California, things got to be the same old thing. Back to partying, drugs, you name it. I mean, Claire had enough. She wound up going back to Montana. I went back to Fresno, and there, the car that I had for meth, running the streets, I got into a lot of scrapes down there with my family as far as cousins and stuff like that. I mean, just wild on the dope. Got tired of just being down there missing Tara. I'll go back to Montana. Long story short, the off-duty police officer, and I went into what was called the Reno Club Resort. I went in there to buy some 151 Bacardi. I didn't see the off-duty police officer. He remembered me from the house. He followed us, but he called him back up. We went to right there on Jackson Street to have a quick way there on the corner. I'm getting out of my homeboy's Camaro to go into the store so we could get a 2-liter of Coke. This older officer, he had already pulled up behind the Camaro. He had his flashlight in at me as I'm stepping out of the car. He says, Mr. Draper, man, I don't know who you're talking about. I know my name. And he goes, no, you're it. I reached behind my back like I'm reaching for the wall. I said, man, I got an idea. I don't know who you're talking about. And I reached down the back, just clenching my fist, so he couldn't see me clench my fist. And I come all the way around, knocked him senseless, took off running. I'm running, going back down toward Jackson to Noah's house. This was a girl that I was shacked up with at the time, screwing around on Tara. Anyways, want to kind of go around there, right there in the alley, a quick way with that off-duty, and he come running out, I saw him down, and I get away. But I wound up jumping into a backyard full of dogs, get hit up real bad. The guy that was the owner of the dogs in the backyard, he was listening to a scanner. He said, look, he called the cops. Hey, man, I think the guy that you guys are looking for is in my backyard. I'm hearing him. You guys looking for him on my scanner? Well, long story short, I get picked up. And it sent me back to the county jail where I didn't get on my bond. I wound up getting sentenced to 6 years in Montana prison, where I wound up going on upstate and did 27 months there. that was my first assault bid as far as penitentiary time.
So you did, 2.5 years or so on that 6-year bid?
Yeah, I did 27 months. When I got out there, I'd already told her, before I got out, we were in the county, and I told her, look, you get an itch, get a scratch, I understand, I'm going to be away.
You have 1 minute left.
She said, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to be faithful, and told her, said, if you're not faithful, I'll get out and I'll kill you. And I loved her, but she wasn't faithful. I found that out. Had to get out and killing her. I got out, went to Minnesota to another woman, which her name was Shelly Owens, and it wasn't no good. All was good.
Okay, all right. So grab me a holler back when this thing dies.
All right.
All right, man.
Hey.